Hello learners, welcome to this program. The title of the program is Need Survey for Developing Courseware. I am Shutapa Bose. I teach at the School of Education, Indira Gandhi National Open University. During this program, we shall discuss the first step of instructional designing which is carried out while developing and delivering a course. The first step is carrying out need analysis. Why we should carry out need analysis? Why need analysis is so important and how it is carried out? We shall be deliberating on these aspects. You see, we develop a course and then we deliver it. In a face-to-face situation, in a classroom or in-person situation, the teacher comes to the class, she teaches, and this is how in-person teaching helps her to deliver the course. But if a course has to be delivered through a distance mode like online, course has to be developed, or it is to be delivered using the print medium or a combination of print medium and other media like audio and video. What is to be done? A courseware has to be developed. It has to be developed in the form of a packaged content, and after that it has to be delivered. Need analysis should be the starting point of this process. Without need analysis, we would not be in a position to know what exactly is to be delivered as course content. This is true for in-person situations. A classroom teacher too should ideally carry out need analysis. Maybe the teacher or maybe the institution should carry out need analysis before the content is delivered. Maybe in the form of classroom lectures, laboratory experiences, field experiences, and so on. In distance mode, it is all the more important to carry out need analysis. What is need analysis? Need analysis is also known as need survey or need assessment. These terms are used synonymously. Need analysis is a process whereby we determine what learners want to learn and who they are. Well, you may ask, do schools ask children what they want to learn? The answer to this question is that to a great extent, no. Schools don't ask children. Courses are offered and students have to study whatever is taught to them. Of course, after the secondary level, they do get a choice and they confirm whether or not they would be learning science or commerce or humanities. And there could also be choices regarding vocational courses. Nevertheless, the curriculum is not determined by school children. However, in higher education, unlike school-going children, adults are in a better position to make choices about what they wish to learn, what they need to learn. Adults are actually more sure of their learning needs. The society doesn't decide for adults what they are going to learn, unlike in the case of children. In such cases, where the target group comprises adult learners, the need is explicit. Adults can say clearly, well, I need a course of this type. I need to learn this. And this is a major factor that determines what is to be taught. If there is a demand from adult learners about a particular area which they would like to learn, a course is offered. There could be courses for teaching children with special needs, music, repairing electrical gadgets, programming, learning analytics, repairing automobiles, and so on. And these courses are usually offered in response to such explicit needs that are expressed by learners. However, Courseware can be offered even when learners do not demand it in an explicit way. These are, however, exceptions. For example, an organization may perceive skill deficit in a particular area. For example, if an organization is introducing an enterprise resource planning, it would wish to train the employees for using the enterprise resource planning effectively. This is a skill deficit which is identified by the organization rather than by the target group, and the organization then provides training experiences. Similarly, if the organization feels that learning analytics is a new concept, a new area, but my employees, my teachers are not yet ready for it, the organization may organize a training program or may nominate teachers for a training program so that they can learn learning analytics. However, generally what happens is that learners come up with the demands. Courses are offered, but learners choose what they would study. Whether they would be studying music or art, painting, drama, creative writing, physics, maths, adult learners are in a position to decide what they want to learn. There could also be new developments in a discipline. I have just cited the example of learning analytics. It is a relatively new area, and the organization or an educational institution, higher educational institution may feel that okay, let us offer a course in this area. That is because people need to know about it. Then there could also be cases where there are social changes, and such social changes trigger new areas of studies. Social changes bringing about new disciplines. For example, gender studies, courses for informing people about child rights, about disabilities, the rights and the duties pertaining to these areas. These are relatively new fields. And if there are no courses in these areas, even without an explicit demand from the learner side, such courses may be offered. But I shall reiterate that for adult learners, usually they tell the institution what they would like to learn. Therefore, we may say that courseware development is actually a response which is made to the demands made by learners for learning. And need survey is therefore essential in order to ascertain the learning needs, what learners would like to learn before developing courseware. Why is it necessary? This is necessary because a courseware has to be effective. It has to facilitate learning. And the second thing is that there is a lot of investment that goes into the development of a course. When you develop a course, you need a lot of resources, a variety of resources. Before investing time, money, manpower and other things, you would like to determine whether or not there is a demand for the course. Otherwise, there is no point in offering courses for which there are no takers. This is also one of the reasons for carrying out need survey. This is the pragmatic aspect of it. Apart from determining what our learners wish to learn, we also need to know who our learners are. We need to determine their demographic profile of the target group. Demographic information comprises information about many aspects of the target group. Target group comprises the cohort of learners who would be enrolling in the course. So what do we determine? We determine age, what would be the minimum, what would be the mean age of the learners, where do they stay, the locality to which they belong, their gender, their access to technology, whether they are in service, whether they have some experience pertaining to the course. Aspects like these would help us to create learners' demographic profile if we have the necessary information for these aspects. But the question is, why is demographic information so important? Why is demographic information collected? Well, let us take up these points one by one. Age is an indicator of the maturity level of learners, and this indicates readiness for learning. For example, if you are developing a course, say on calculus, naturally you would not think of developing it for children who are just at the elementary level. Knowing the age is also important. That is because age is an indicator of maturity, and accordingly we can pitch the course at a particular level. If I know that my audience would be mature people, say people in their middle level career, those who have just joined a profession, they would be of a certain age, but those who have spent quite some time, who have devoted quite a few years to a profession, they would have a different kind of maturity. Knowing the age of your target group would help to a great extent in determining the maturity of the people, and this is an indicator of readiness for learning. Moreover, adult learners usually have social responsibilities, unlike children who have no other responsibility but to study and pursue their hobbies. But an adult learner has a family, she may be having a job, she may be having social obligations. Therefore, she has to find time for the course that we are offering. She has to find time and how much time she will have to devote. We need to take into account this before we develop a course for adult learners. If it is too demanding in terms of time, it would not be suitable for in-service people. If I am developing an in-service education program, but my learners need to devote say 6 to 8 hours every day, it may not be possible for them if they are in service. Therefore, information about this aspect is helpful. Besides this, the academic qualification, this is also an indicator of readiness. If I am offering a course for advanced level computer science, I should know that they have passed the basic level computer courses. Only then they would be ready. And their experience. As I said, that there could be novice who have just joined a profession, and there could be people who have been in the service for quite some time. They would be having rich experience of their profession. Whether I should factor in their workplace learning, the experiences that they have acquired, and make it a part of the curriculum of the course that I would offer. This is important. And in-service people have experiences. This is one aspect. And the second aspect is that they may not be able to devote as much time as those who are not in service. And the third point is that, for example, if a course is being developed for school teachers, and if I schedule the broadcasts of the program that matches with the working hours of the school teachers, they would not be in a position to benefit from the broadcasts. I'll have to schedule the broadcast either in the evening or early in the morning. So this is the benefit of carrying out a need survey and determining whether the target group comprises in-service people. Therefore, many course providers provide the mention the time in terms of number of hours in a week that teachers or anyone who is a learner would have to devote. Access to the learning opportunities is also important, especially when content is delivered through advanced technology. This, for example, if I am developing a course for people who do not have access to, say, broadband or internet, if I have rural learners, if I have urban learners but women who do not have access to a device like a smartphone or a laptop, how would I teach them? What would be the medium through which I would be delivering instructions? I need to factor in my learners' access to technology. Information about access to technology therefore helps to plan the delivery of instructions. While age, whether they are in service, whether they have experience and their learning needs, these factors are important for developing the course content. How to plan its delivery is also important, and learners' access to technology is one of the factors that has to be factored in. We see that demographic information which is collected through need survey projects these requirements of the target group, the needs, the cultural practices of the target group. It is also important to understand this aspect. While designing the illustrations, while we include illustrations, pictures in the course content, it is always better to portray people, those who are wearing the dresses that are commonly worn in that locality. Otherwise, there would be a cultural mismatch. Learners would not be in a position to relate with the course content. And the examples, for example, if I am developing a course on, say, nutritious food or food and nutrition, it is always better to include examples of locally available food rather than nutritious food which is not found in that area. Learners should be able to relate with the content which is being taught. This is how demographic information tells us about who the learners are, and this guides content development. Now coming to data collection, how do we collect information for needs survey? If the population of the target group is large, it may not just be feasible, it may not be possible to contact each and every learner who wishes to learn, who wishes to enroll in the program. So what do we do in such cases? We collect data from a sample of the population, and we should try to make the sample as representative as possible. If the learners are spread across India, collecting data only from a sample picked out from one particular state or one particular city would not be representative. Proper sampling methods therefore should be followed. But if the number of learners is low, in that case we may try to collect data for need survey from all those who wish to enroll in the program. But how do we collect data? We need to procure tools, or it is better to develop tools for data collection, and we should develop these tools with full care. These tools could be in the form of questionnaires, or we could include interviews. Questionnaires are useful usually for large populations, which is also scattered. But interview could be suitable. You could get in-depth information about the target group's needs. If the target group happens to be localized, it is not possible to visit learners spread out across a large geographical area. But if the learners are, say, from one or two organizations, visiting two organizations or a few organizations could be possible. The data collected is usually qualitative in the form of text. It is descriptive and it describes the learner's needs, the learning needs as well as the demographic profile. And we have to analyze the text. We have to analyze the data in order to determine the trends. The trends emerging from the data will guide us about the learner's learning needs. For example, the trend may be that learners want to update their knowledge of softwares used for editing videos. And they want the courseware in English medium. They are in-service teachers and their average age is say 35 or 25. But they have only a limited access to internet. These trends emerging from the data, following data analysis will help us to construct the learner profile. Need survey therefore helps the instructors or the course developers to make informed decisions about the learning experiences, about the inputs she wishes to include in the courseware and deliver to learners. I'll cite an example here of a localized target group. For example, if the teachers are working in an organization, an autonomous organization under the Ministry of Education, you may take the help of the organization for collecting data from the teachers who would comprise the target group for an in-service program that we wish to deliver to them. For training the elementary level teachers of various states of India, identifying the units that comprise the target group was fairly easy, even though the target group was spread across states. And determining the needs was also not difficult. This is because these programs which were offered by IGNOU were sponsored by the states, and the state government would have helped in developing such programs. So if you have this kind of advantage, it's okay. Otherwise, going for a sample, building a sample and then collecting data from the sample is a better alternative. I'll cite one case here. For example, data was collected through open-ended interviews. This revealed that the target group needs to learn about the techniques of, say, breeding honeybees. The demographic information showed that most learners have not studied beyond the elementary level. Most of them were school dropouts, and that they stay in rural areas. Their age ranges from say 15 to 30, and about 30% of them are women. The need survey also told us that they understand mainly the language spoken in their locality. And the decision for going for text-based content and online programs were therefore ruled out. So how to develop courseware for such a target group? You say one way could be to develop text-based content, but which has ample use of images. Series of images depicting the processes, depicting the steps need to be created. Text should be less, images should be more. The images should do the explanation part. The images should be self-explanatory. And videos and interactive radio programs could be used for delivering instructions. The data collected therefore reveals that what sort of inputs should be included. I'll discuss a sample tool for a need survey. How to determine the demographic details, what should be included in a tool. This is just a sample. Name, we cannot force people to disclose their personal information including name. Therefore, we have kept it optional. Address, this is again optional, or you may ask the target group to share their address, the phone number and other contact details. This will help you in contacting them if the need arises during the course development phase. You may ask them to put a tick mark on one or more options like their gender, the age group. Age group could be indicated in the form of a range, their educational qualification. This will help you to determine the readiness for the course you intend to offer, whether they are in service. So this is in the form of a closed questionnaire. You can also ask them about their access to technology like computer, internet, not just access, whether they can use computer, internet, and whether they would be able to devote a particular number of hours every week for studying the course. It could be 4 hours or 6 hours or 8 hours. And this is how you determine the content load that you would include in the course. And whether the learners prefer to learn through print medium, audio medium, or video, or a combination of these, or multimedia. And whether they would be in a position to enroll in a course with a long duration like 2 years or 1 year, or they are not in a position to enroll in long duration courses. There are many other aspects which you could include in your tool. For example, what is their choice of medium, whether it's English or Hindi or the regional language. This will help you to build the demographic profile. In another section of the same questionnaire, you may include questions like whether they have studied a related course, whether they have experience pertaining to the field to which the course pertains, and then you may want to know the details of the course, similar courses or programs that they have completed, and also what are their reasons for studying a particular course, what exactly they would like to learn. These two questions are crucial. Why? That is because you can formulate your instructional objectives on the basis of exactly what your learners wish to learn. When you ask them that what are you looking for, what do you need to study, what are your needs, and when they articulate it, it becomes easier for you to frame the instructional objectives. So this is the reason why needs survey is carried out, in order to determine two things. First, the learning needs. What is it that they wish to learn? And the second thing is who the learners are. This is collected in the form of demographic data. And we carry out a need survey before we start developing a program. And the third aspect is that we carry out a need survey on the basis of a sample. If the population is quite large, or if the population itself is small, then we could survey each and every prospective learner, and we need to develop tools which could be a questionnaire or an interview or both of these. So this is about need survey, but we need to remember that it is essential to carry out need survey before offering a course. Thank you.